I think October or November, I got offer from Amazon, Walmart, Zomato, Ixigo, Goldman Sachs. So leaving that job. So this was a 1 day job only. I just joined and leave at the same day.
So hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this interview episode, I'm joined by Himanshu, who is a L5 level Amazon software engineer. So Himanshu, it's great to have you here. How is it going?
Yeah, thanks Ryan for inviting me, and it's going good.
Yeah. So I guess we can start off. Tell the viewers a bit about what you do.
Sure. So basically, I am working in Amazon as an SDE2. Basically, it's an L5 role. Okay, and I joined here, I think, in December 2020. So it's around 1 year and 10 months here. And majorly, the work that I am doing is on the backend side, but there are some chunks of front end as well as here. And the product
Mhm.
that I am currently working on is basically a new one in the Indian markets from Amazon. So it is going to be launched
Mhm.
in India very soon in year 2023. So yeah, this is very exciting part about this. Yeah,
Okay, yeah. And I guess can you walk us through your day? Like what's an average day like for you?
sure. So my day starts at 11 in the morning when we have a stand up. Before that, I take a 15-minute uh, period so that I can prepare myself basic notes for the stand up updates. After the stand up is done, I plan my tasks according to the priorities. And we have a few meetings as well as they can be a design meeting or a general team discussions. And between these team meeting gaps, we have to do our implementation works, right? We have a lot of tasks assigned to us, so we just take it in between the meetings. Apart from that, we also get opportunities to interview candidates for Amazon, right? So there are a couple
Mhm.
of these opportunities as well that we get. Yeah,
Mhm. And you're based from Bangalore, right? From India?
yeah, my work location is Bangalore,
Okay.
India.
Well, that's good to know. So I guess let's step back a bit. So walk me through a bit of your journey. Like how did you get into Amazon? Like what was your goal growing up? Like how did you get manage to get here?
Okay, so talking about when I completed my plus two, so I was a bit dicey when if I have to choose a medical side or a non-medical side. So definitely I do not have any much interest in the biology. So I definitely took in the non-medical, which is basically a physics, chemistry, and math stream. And as soon as I completed this, so I have to enter into a college, right? But because my family was not having any engineers prior to me, so we are having kind of a lack in the guidance. So some of our relative told me that okay, in India there is a scope of computer engineering. If you get this will be a best choice. So according to his
Mhm.
opinion, I entered into the computer science branch. But when I entered actually, so I really liked this subject because it is very much logical and you do not need to mug up a lot of things, which I hated in my school time.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it felt me really well. And at the end of this bachelor's, I got an offer from a very small service-based company based out of my hometown, and the other offer from a very big service-based MNC. So these were two offers for me. But at that time, I was not that much active in DSA and practicing, but I was good in the fundamentals like the core subjects, Java, data structures,
Mhm.
algorithm designing. I was very good in that. So after, so I completed my bachelor's in year 2016, right? And
Mhm.
the offer that I was holding, actually, they offered me a joining in the next year, 2017. So
Mhm.
basically, when they sent me the joining letter, the date, so I arrived at their location, and then I actually realized that I made a mistake in this career because of a reason. The pay is very less, and that time I was aware like the product companies are giving you more opportunities than the service-based
Yeah.
companies. So I kind of thought, okay, I need to do some correction here. Otherwise, the career track is not going to be a fruitful journey ahead.
Mhm.
So at that time, I just came back to my hometown, leaving that job. So this was a 1 day job only. I just joined and leave at the same day.
Oh.
Then coming back to my hometown, yeah. So I actually started preparing myself for DSA, and I also try to approach a lot of companies. But because it was a new batch coming in 2017, so I was getting rejections from almost all the companies. In this search, I also checked my emails from the college time. So we actually get a lot of emails from the placement cells, right? In which we
Hmm.
have email ID of recruiters. So from there, I got a email from Samsung actually. So I just emailed
Oh.
them. Okay, this is the profile and this is the background, and I just want to have an opportunity. So they informed me, okay, we are having a coding round this week, and you can join that. So I practiced a lot because this was going to be a kind of final chance for me. Otherwise, I have to prepare
Yeah.
for some other government exams and leave that field totally. So I prepared really well, and hopefully and thankfully, this exam went well, really well, and I was able
Hmm.
to get an offer from Samsung. So Samsung was the first company with which I started my journey, and I stayed there for I think 1.5 years, and the experience there was very good actually. If I tell you, so basically in terms of opportunities, they give us a lot of opportunity building our data structure skills because Samsung has a lot of competency tests, right? Internally, intermediate, and professionals. So at that time, they were having a dedicated period assigned to you in which you will not be doing any project, just focusing on your data structure skills and clearing those competencies. Because based on that, the center will get the work from Korea. So this was the part from Samsung. And after Samsung, I joined a couple of Indian startups or small companies like Paytm and Times Internet. But at that time, some of my friends were working in Amazon and other big companies. So I had a urge in my mind, okay, I also want to try international thing. So
Hmm.
in 2020, we got a lockdown due to COVID. So at
Yeah.
that time, I got an opportunity and a time window to prepare myself. Actually, I was doing it from the very beginning of 2020. So I just started preparing on my DSA and I started getting some offers and I kept on doing this throughout the year. And during
Hmm.
the near, I think October or November, I got offer from Amazon, Walmart, Zomato, Ixigo, Goldman Sachs. So these
Oh
were the
wow.
offers that I got, yeah, at that time.
Yeah.
So yeah, so among these offers, Amazon was definitely better in terms of pay, in terms of brand,
Hmm.
and everybody knows that Amazon has a really good culture in terms of giving you
Yeah.
opportunities. Basically, you can switch teams if you do not like the one; they are happy to switch your team. So in 2020 December, I joined Amazon. So after joining Amazon, I worked in a team based out of Hyderabad. It was related to some Alexa backend. So I worked there,
Hmm.
and the last year I came to know from a friend that Amazon is building a new product, and that team based out of Bangalore location. So I opted that opportunity, and I'm really happy working in this particular team as this is a new product and everything is basically built from scratch. So there is a lot of opportunity to learn and grow.
Yeah.
So this is the
Yeah.
journey from my college to Amazon.
Okay, wow. Yeah, that's pretty adventurous, I would say, because you've had like so many turnarounds, and then I guess you also mentioned at one point you the only opportunity you had was with Samsung, so that was like do or die at that time, right?
Yeah, do or die situation,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah. So I guess so. Speaking on this point, how did you prepare for all these interviews? Because you got offers from all these companies. So how were you so good at like giving interviews?
Okay, so myself, I followed a simple strategy. I picked a list of lead code questions and I started doing it. And how I did it actually, I spent some time analyzing the question. I take help of pen and paper, do my own analysis, and
Hmm.
I do not generally follow that I have to wrap a question in single hour only. I just provided it some time for the mind to also absorb the logic. And sometimes if I'm not able to come up with the solution, the best thing you can do is just go to the discuss section of that problem because in the discuss section there are a lot of people that are posting amazing solutions, and
Yeah.
definitely I do not believe if you go and check some YouTube videos on that, there are a couple of decent solutions because not every good coder is a YouTuber, right? So in the discuss
Hmm.
section you will get amazing solutions. So even if I have submitted my solution and it is working fine, I made a habit to check the discuss part
Yeah.
as well. because
Yeah.
that's how you know, right, where is the scope of improvement, how other people are thinking on this solution. So this is the thing for the data structure parts, and you have to do it consistently. Don't think like you have to complete 20 questions in a week or something. Give
Yeah.
yourself a time, because everyone's pace can differ, right? If your mind is not absorbing the logic, then there is no sense of completing the question, watching the videos only. Take time, and also follow a strategical order, right? If you considering that you are a BTech student and you have some already a background in data structures, start with some
Hmm.
easy topics like arrays, right? Go to recursions, then proceed to dynamic programming, trees,
Yeah.
stacks, queues, and at the last try for graph, because not every company is going to ask you graphs. So this was the
Yeah.
pattern that I followed for data structures. And coming to system design round, so I actually spent some time exploring a lot of YouTube channels and all. So there's a very good YouTube channel, and that guy was working in AWS at that time itself. So his channel name is System Design Interviews. So there are, I think, 4 or 5
Okay.
videos, but they are really worthy. If you spend your time in this video, I'll recommend watch them again and again until you grasp all the logic explained. So these are really, really helpful videos. I'll definitely recommend that.
Yeah.
And nowadays there is a very popular book by Alex Zhu on system design. I think it's a
Hmm.
bestseller on Amazon as well. So you can refer that book as well. This is also a good book. But yeah, that YouTube
Yeah.
channel is definitely a go-to.
Yeah, because well, you also answered my next question. I was gonna ask like if there were any like courses or YouTube channels or books that helped you in that journey. So that's interesting. So I just wanted to ask on the lead code part. So on the lead code, were you doing mostly like the easy problems on lead code, or do you get into like some of the medium or hard ones as well?
Okay, so actually at that time I didn't targeted it like this, but later on when I was writing some LinkedIn post about how much problems I solved on lead code, so I checked my lead
Mm-hmm.
code history. So it boils down to only 108 questions that I did for this clearing all these offers,
Mm-hmm.
and majorly was from medium part. So I think 5 or 6 easy problems, and rest majorly 90% chunk you can say is the medium, and the
Mm-hmm.
remaining ones are hard. So majorly you need to focus on medium section and a little bit of hard. But if you're struggling solving the question, go via easy. This is the correct
Mm-hmm.
order. But at that time, I was not aware of that thing. So I just
Okay. Yeah.
randomly did a lot of question, but a topic wise list. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. Well, so coming back to say you answered like how you prepped for the technical part, like the data structures, and then how you also prepped for the system design as well. So following online resources. So what I want to ask is how did you prepare like for the behavioral part? Like just when you're talking with the interviewer, like how did you make sure that you were confident in that situation?
Okay, so behavioral, I am splitting in two parts. So in Amazon, basically, there are some leadership principles, and leadership principles are nothing but related to your projects. And inside Amazon also, everything will be tied to a leadership principle, say customer obsession, right, or other leadership principles. So in Amazon, every interview round is tied to some skill, let's say a DSA, and some leadership principle. So there are some standard questions based on that. Let's say a customer obsession, right? So you will be asked a couple of questions: how you improve your customer experience, if you get some feedback from your customer, how you worked on that. So basically they are judging you on top of that, right? So there are a couple of things, and if you check the Amazon careers website, you'll get a list of leadership principles, and from there you can just prepare accordingly. So this is nothing. If you have done your projects, then everything has to come, the answers has to come from that experience only. And
Okay.
coming to other set of behavioral questions, so not in Amazon and these big companies, but in some companies there are some behavioral questions as well, right? How you'll handle this situation and that situation. So I think you should be try to be honest there, and basically they are looking forward for a candidate having a positive attitude, right? So you have to maintain that attitude while working actually in the company or attempting interviews as well. And if you are lacking on that part, so there are a couple of YouTube channels also who help you on building up your behavioral skills as well. You, so you can
Mm-hmm.
definitely check that as well. Yeah. But in Amazon
Okay,
and
yeah.
other companies, I think there are less these type of questions. Mostly you will be judged on your
Most
DSA,
technical.
system design if
Hmm.
you are a senior person, and leadership principle definitely. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. So I want to get this. So this is like specific advice, but just stepping back a bit, what is your advice for say people who are struggling to like really like shine in their interviews? Because like I'll throw a scenario at you. Like a lot of people who I talk to, like one thing that happens to them is like during an interview, like their mind just blanks out, like they can't think properly, like they're nervous. So how do they make sure like they're comfortable, like when they're giving an interview, especially a technical interview?
Okay, so getting comfortable in interview, you have to give mock test if you are really nervous during the interviews. You
Mhm.
can take help of your friends, or there are some platforms as well where you can just give your mock interviews. So this is the first part, right? Second thing, what I followed actually, let's say you are targeting Amazon, right? But you are not that much confident. You can maybe
Mhm.
start with some other companies for which if you are getting a denial, then you are not worried about
Mhm.
it, so start giving that interviews because this is actually a live practice,
Mm.
right? And if
Yeah.
you get opportunity, then definitely you can join that if the opportunity is given is good, right? Next thing is, say you have to be cool during the interviews, right? If you are nervous, then really high chances that you will step into the wrong direction. And if you started in the wrong direction in initial 10 or 15 minutes, then there are 90% chance that you'll get rejection because that
Yeah.
round definitely not going to happen well. So take time. If you're getting nervous, take time, have a glass of water with you. So this is that I think you need to do. Otherwise,
Yeah.
basically, if you are not comfortable in interview scenarios, mock interviews are helpful, right? You have to do a timed practice in
Mhm.
that case if you are just getting
Yeah.
nervous because of a time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah. That's a major
sometimes
factor as well. Yeah.
yeah. And if the communication skill is a barrier, so I think basic English is not that much hard to speak. You can try practicing it with your friends. That should be helpful.
Yeah. No, that's really good because I actually made a video on like giving some tips for interviews, and one thing I mentioned, which like helped me in a lot of my interviews as well, was watching mock interviews online. Like I personally didn't like do like simulated mock interviews myself, but I watched like other people on YouTube. So like when I would be eating lunch, I would just like pull up a interview online. So that's also definitely helped me as well.
Yes, this is actually a good
Yeah.
advice. Actually, you'll get motivation plus some experience, right?
Yeah.
How the interviews are going these days. So this is a
Yeah.
good market.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, thank you for those tips. Those are definitely helpful. And I guess we'll end off with this question. So you mentioned one way someone can prep for interview, say they're targeting like Amazon. They can apply to other companies, get familiar with interviews. But my question is like what is your advice for people who are struggling to actually get those interviews? Like how do they make sure they get noticed? Like what is your advice for say like high school or college students? Like they want to get into tech but they can't even like get selected for the interviews. So what is your advice for those people?
Sure. So I think these people need to have a complete LinkedIn profile first, right? Because in my
Hmm.
case, LinkedIn was really helpful. I didn't use any other app for this. So make your LinkedIn profile, make it complete, mention complete details. Now, the next step. Say at the college time you are doing some projects, right? You are doing some back end, front end, making some websites. Then start posting it on LinkedIn. This will definitely attract recruiters, right? The next thing, let's say you are having a aim to have a job in next 2 months, 3 months, right? So start
Hmm.
approaching recruiters from your side. This is the one thing. Start making connections. If they accept the connections,
Yeah.
please send them messages. Let's say you are targeting a particular job. So one mistake that generally most of candidates do, right? They send you a message, right? Hi, sir, if your company is hiring for this role, then please refer me. So this
Hmm.
message has two incomplete informations. The first one is the job ID, right?
Hmm.
Why the other one, other
Yeah.
people will be searching a job ID for you, looking at your profile, spending half an hour, right? So
Yeah.
it's your duty, have a job ID with you, have a complete resume, and then send a message. that I am targeting for this job ID. Can you help me with this referral? And this is my
Yeah.
latest resume. So this is one thing. And also LinkedIn comes up with a list of open jobs, right? So just go and apply there. I think majorly all the companies' vacancies are listed here. You need not to apply from their official website. So LinkedIn is sufficient,
Yeah.
but do apply and also make connections because connections are really helpful in LinkedIn. So these are 2 or 3 points that I wanted to mention.
Okay, I know those are really good. So be like, so people who are struggling, like be proactive, like try to apply, like message recruiters. So take, like have a polished profile, so good portfolio, good LinkedIn profile. So yeah, so no, those are really good points. So thank you so much for joining me today. You've given a lot of really good advice, and people who are watching this, I'll have some timestamps in my description as well. So if you want to rewatch some of the points, you can.
Yeah, thanks, Ayan.
Yeah. And I hope you guys have enjoyed as well. Make sure to like and subscribe and let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of this interview. And I'll see you guys in the next video.